Toxic families are more common than you think. I am saying this so that in case you are ashamed and you feel humiliated by your family, just know that toxic families are very common and your family is not unique in any way. Hi, I am Dee and welcome to Dee's Win. I am saying this because a lot of us feel like we carry the shame, the humiliation of the things that our family members do, or of the families that we come from. I come from a very toxic family. I've been talking on this channel about how my parents, especially my mother, is a toxic narcissist. And sometimes the things that she would do would humiliate me. And when I was younger, I used to feel so ashamed. And when the toxicity escalated, as I grew older, the toxicity escalated. It escalated to a place where she would even run smear campaigns. And the smear campaigns would actually show the type of person she is more than they said anything about me. At the time when those things were happening, I would feel so ashamed and I would feel like there was something wrong with me and with my family. And I felt like that is a black stain on me as a human being. But over the years, I've realized that I don't know anybody whose family is not toxic. It is only the degree of toxicity that exists and that we see. Some people are very good at hiding their imperfections. Some families are very good at presenting a face and hiding who they are and what they are. But let me tell you, it is very, very common. Like I said, I come from a family of 5, 3 kids and a mother and a father. The toxicity that we had in our family in the beginning, nobody could see. We look like a perfect family. We look like a family, an ideal family, a very perfect situation. That's how it looked like when I was younger. And I walked around with pride. And I have to say, as a child, you feel the pride in that because you feel like everybody envies you. People would tell me what a perfect family I come from, how perfect we all are, how we go to good schools, how my father is so perfect at providing. And it carries with it a certain level of elevation within society. And as a child, it gives you a false sense of being somebody based on the kind of family that you come from. So you based who you are, what you are, in terms of what kind of family you come from. Even as I got older in my 20s, when I started getting these other accomplishments, I felt like I am all that coming from all that family, only to see that the toxicity is getting worse and it's seeping out at the seams. And what I thought that people could not see, it started getting worse. People could see my mother's toxicity because she couldn't hold it in. And she felt better when she was going out and smearing me, smearing my dad, smearing my family. It started showing. And I remember one of my aunts gloating about what kind of a perfect family we were and how things have fallen apart and how we used to pretend when we were younger. She was gloating. And the funny thing is this person is gloating not because I did something wrong, because of the things that my mother said. That is the only thing that made her gloat. She was happy and she would tell me how happy they were and how they used to laugh about it. Because my mother and our family used to make them feel small. And I know that's what used to happen as a child. And now as an adult, when I reflect what used to happen when I was a child, I know that they used to feel small about my family. I know they used to feel small about how my father was present and providing. And she was gloating. And she would tell me that it's not just her who's gloating, who's happy. They would sit as a family, as extended family, as relatives, and talk about my mother, how she used to act high and mighty and how the high and mighty have fallen. And to a certain extent, I accept and I agree the high and mighty have fallen because we were taught as a family that we are up there, we are above everybody else. We are the acceptable face of what a family should look like. We almost seemed like we had it all. But I know as a child, I was very unhappy. I know my sister was very unhappy. I know my brother is very unhappy. And because as a child, you cannot process all of those things. You don't even know how to process those emotions and those feelings. But as I grew older and I look at my circle, I look at my friends, I look at my colleagues, let me tell you, there is no perfect family. Every family has its toxic traits, and a lot of families hide that toxicity. It's only when you get closer to people that you get to realize that this family that looks perfect is actually so imperfect. And they accept their imperfections. The families that work are families that accept each other's imperfections and they make it work. And they work through their imperfections. And in some cases, a lot of families would, not even in some, a lot of families would actually hide that toxicity. A lot of family would pretend to be good, to be loving, to be kind, to be supportive. But behind the scenes, the toxicity will show only behind the scenes. But when they come out, they put up a face. And I also learned that after I got married, that the wrong things that I see and feel about my marriage, about my own family that I've created now, I do not go around publicizing them. I do not go around publicizing what is wrong between me and my husband. Yes, we have a great marriage and I'm very happy in my marriage, but there is a lot still that I feel like could be better. There is a lot that I wish could change between me and my husband, but I will not publicize them. And also then, that also creates the facade, that creates an impression that we have a perfect family, and we don't. And we don't. So in this case, I'm not sure if it's a matter of me presenting a face or it's a matter of me protecting my marriage and my family. But let me tell you, toxicity is very common. I was on this point that I look at my circle, I look at all my friends, I look at all my colleagues. There is not a single person that I'm close to who has not revealed their family's toxic traits and some traits that I feel like I would not be able to stand as a person. But I know how bad my own family that I come from is. I know how terrible my family is. And we get so ashamed that we feel like it's a cloak that we wear around that people look at and judge us for. But that is not the case. Yesterday, I was with my esthetician and he was so upset. And when I asked him, why are you so upset? She's like, I hate my family and I've blocked all of them. You know, I laughed and I said, you are telling me my story. I do not like my family either and I've blocked them. I love them because they are my blood, but I don't want to have a relationship with them. These are not the kinds of people that I would choose to be my friends. And he started telling me his story. He started telling me how toxic his family is, how toxic his mother is, how toxic his siblings. And because he made it, he became the scapegoat of the family. He says as a young child, he was always focused. He was always a hard worker. He knew that he wanted to make it out of the hood. He was telling me my story. And now he is the feminist scapegoat. They gossip about him. They say bad things. They run smear campaigns. I was just laughing and I said, dude, why are you telling me about my life? Because that is exactly it, in exactly what is happening to me, even though it is happening to me in different ways, but it is exactly my story. And we started laughing. We started laughing and we started pouring out onto each other and just talking about what is wrong with our families and the things that they've done to us. And because we stood out and we currently still stand out because of how hard we have worked and how much more successful we are than our siblings or our parents, how they've made us the scapegoat and they've made us the bad guys. It was so funny. It was not funny in a ha-ha way. It was funny in a weird way that my story could be somebody else's story. But then I realized, I look at my other friends whose families look so perfect. I know that they are not perfect. And I want to tell you that what you think is the shame that you carry because of your family's behaviors is not your shame to carry. It is not your shame to wear. It's not your cloak. It's not the cloak that you go around wearing that people will judge you on. And whoever judges you on that, they are lying to themselves. I have to say the same as my aunt who was laughing about the situation. She comes from a worse of situation. If I can tell you about what is going on with her family, with her life, forget about where she comes from, her life. It is sad. It is sad, and I don't gloat about it. I don't gloat about her circumstances because firstly and frankly, I don't care. I don't care what people do. I don't care about people's life because I am too busy in my own. I am so consumed with my own life that I don't have time for that. I don't care what she's going on with her. But the people who gloat about it are sick human beings. They are actually sadder than you. And I want to tell you that these people are actually much more sad than you could ever imagine. These are the people who do not sleep at night thinking about your situation, trying to make themselves feel better, because there is nothing about their lives that can make them feel good, that can make them feel better. And they need to find a way to feel better about themselves when they think about your situation. And when a person works hard at trying to feel better about themselves, just know that you've made it. You are it. Just know that you are it and you have made it. So I want to say, we should not walk around carrying the shame of our family's behaviors. We should not feel like they are humiliating us. I have come to accept that my mother's smear campaign, my mother's rants about me and my life and what a bad adult I became or a good child I was because I was obedient. Now that I've stopped being obedient and I have boundaries, she doesn't like me anymore. But that is her shame to carry. That says a lot about who she is. It says nothing about me. I still strive to treat people well. I still strive to be a good citizen, a law-abiding citizen, and I treat people around me with love, with grace, with kindness. But if you do not show and if you do not reciprocate those feelings to me and those behaviors to me, I cut you off. That is my principle and that is my policy in life. I do not hang around people who don't like me. I do not hang around people who pretend to like me, like my in-laws, like my mother-in-law who pretends when she sees her son that she likes me. I don't hang around people like that. And I know that sounds bad, that you don't hang around with in-laws, you're fallen out with your family. And a few videos back, I said, maybe I'm the problem. But I'm a perfect problem because I have so much peace. I have so much peace in my life. I love my life. I worry about important things. Important things disturb my day. They disturb my life. I don't have time to worry about people who don't like me. I don't have time for people who pretend to like me only to get something out of me, whether it's financial gain or whatever it is that they think they must get out of me. So let us not carry the humiliation. Let us not carry the shame. What our families do is up to them. It says a lot about them. So, child of a toxic narcissist, beware that toxic families are everywhere. There is nothing different about you. There is nothing different about your family. The only thing is yours is out in the open and some other people's, actually, those things happen in private. Thank you for tuning in and I hope to see you again next time.